Hello, welcome to Abe's Front Porch Talk. So I've got a lot to discuss with you guys tonight. And so first off, the first thing I want to tell you is that if you suffer with chronic pain or a mental illness like bipolar, depression, anxiety, etc., PTSD, like I do, hit me up on this link I will put in the description below called premium.chat. Now I will have the link and you click on it. I charge a flat rate for a video call for 1 whole hour at $10. So you get me for a whole hour for $10 and you can discuss what's bothering you, where you feel misunderstood with your family, where they can't understand where you're coming from, or if you just need to vent, or you're having a bad day dealing with bipolar disorders, or your anxiety's high and you just feel like you need to talk to somebody, you can hit me up through this premium.chat app. Also, the other one is if you want to text through the app, it's a $10 flat rate there, but you only get 30 minutes to text me in. Now, I'm a little worried about the text messaging. I'm new to this. I started this back in the summer when I come across this app and set the account up. I tried to advertise it then, but there was no luck. So I backed off of it for a while. Now that I have new subscribers and new followers on Instagram and Twitter, I'm hoping that I can get somebody that is having some rough time that they will hit me up. And I may not keep it as text messaging for a long time. Maybe I'll just do the videos for 1 hour. But I'm just going to see how things go right now. I've just got it set up 2 ways to see what happens, okay? So please, I'll put that link in that description. You guys give it a try. And maybe you know somebody who suffers with chronic pain or a mental illness, or someone that needs to vent to people. And send them to me. Give them that link. Tell them, hey, hit this person up. I'm not a doctor. I'm just a friend. I'm just trying to be a friend, a stranger to someone that you just need to talk to, okay? So it all stays professional. What you tell me goes no further than what you tell me, because I'm not going to know anybody you know anyways. I'm not going to get on my videos and read text messages or talk about what you have told me and all of that and mention names. I don't believe in that stuff, okay? So no, that's not what that's about. We all need the support, because I might tell you something that I've been through, and I'm telling you some stuff about myself to help encourage you, and I wouldn't expect you to get on your social medias apps and say, hey, I talked to Abe with Abe's Front Porch Talk, and he told me this and this and that, and he told me some of his life story, and it gets out there. No, I would be ticked off if somebody did me that way. So I wouldn't do you that way, and you don't do me that way. We'll encourage one another, okay? Also, don't forget to check my book out at Barnes & Noble called Living with Fibromyalgia and How It Affected My Life. It's a short, sweet book. I'll have that in the description too, where you can click on the link. It's only available online at NOOK and ebook right now. I'm still working on trying to get it into book form. I've run into a snag and I got fed up with it, so I stopped. So I'll pick it up later, maybe in the next year or so. But right now I'm working on YouTubes and podcasts and growing my subscriber accounts too and things like this. But check that book out. It would be beneficial to everyone. Also, I will have my Instagram and my Twitter account description in the description link, where you can follow me there as well. And moving on, today's video is called A Change is Coming. Oh boy. Yeah, I said it. A change is coming. In my podcast, I've been talking about gemstones and crystals. And I've been pulling back how far they went from the Bible times of Moses days to King David picking up a stone, and was it a gemstone that actually was used to kill Goliath with, instead of a stone that we think of when we say he picked up a stone and just killed Goliath with. You know, we think of a rock formation. So I went different ways with this. And, you know, Aaron's breastplate had 12 gemstones in it, which represented the 12 tribes of Israel. So, and I'm just giving you a little taste about what's in there like this. And, you know, people says they're witchcraft to have. Or some people says they're good to have and they're not. So you have to listen to the podcast to figure out the two. I don't want to go in a whole lot of details because I'd rather you go to the podcast and listen. And you can find me on all major platforms of the podcast. But the point to this is that I've been receiving a lot of confirmation in the past 2 weeks now of things I need to do. And I felt all weekend, and when I was trying to really think really hard on the gemstones and crystals, because I was going to try to get at least 2 more weeks out of it, but I felt I needed to stop. And I went ahead and did an episode yesterday, and that was the last one, so I'm moving on for right now. I may come back to gemstones and crystals later on, but probably not anytime soon. Maybe sometimes in the next year, depending on how things will go. There's a major change coming into this world, and I need you guys to listen up. It's going to be good for a lot of people, and it's going to be bad for a lot of others. God said He will reign on the just and the unjust. I know a lot of you are not religious people, and I'm not asking you to be religious. I'm just asking you to hear what I've got to say. There's a lot of things coming that's going to be out of our control, and we all must hang in there. And I just don't know exactly when it's going to happen, but I will tell you this, it will be soon, and it'll be sooner than what any of us thinks, okay? I'm stepping out in faith, and I'm going to make changes to my YouTube channel, and I'm going to make changes to my podcast for right now. Something tells me I need to try to help teach the Word of God a little bit more, to show people, hey, this has always been in the Bible, like with this virus and things to come, things that's going to be in the present time, that's not here yet, things that might take place 6 months later. So, and I'm trying to get prepared. Now, I'm not saying that the rapture is going to take place and a fire and brimstone's coming down. No, but we're going to see some sorrow times. But it's going to be good for a lot of us. I saw a lot of the prophets here on YouTube that I watch closely. And I listened to them for a long time before I subscribed to their channel. And I like listening to them. There's 5 of them that I watch, maybe 6. And they all line up with each other. And so far, everything they have said since I've been watching them has came to pass. I'm not going into details about what's came to pass, what they've said, but some of the stuff they've already said has came to pass. They've talked about a lot of things happening in September. It's happened. And they've called a lot of stuff going on. And let's just put it that way. So, I've received a lot of confirmation. People are not going to like this confirmation that I have received. But I've got to do what's best for me. I answer to a God. And I've got to move on. Also, God has opened up doors for me in the last 2 weeks. And I'm so happy. I've been on 2 different YouTube channels and I've been on a podcast as a guest. So I was a guest on these 2 YouTube channels in 1 week. Not even expected to be on there. It just happened. And the podcast that I was a guest on was a video call on Instagram saying they need another podcaster to be a guest. Their one that they did have backed out. So it just, everything just started happening all at once. And I knew then this is something going to happen. So there's going to be this change that's coming. It's hard for me to say. You need to be prepared. You need to be prepared, but don't panic. Do not panic. A lot of us is probably going to hear of our loved ones passing away during this. Some could be violently. Some could be through sickness. Just be careful where you go. And be careful who you approach. This is hard. And as the time comes through, I will come on YouTube more, and I will give you scriptures to help you get through a lot of these trials. And that's one reason why I felt I needed to stop with the gemstones and crystals for right now. Some of these prophets I watch, they're expecting bad things. It may not be like how I'm figuring it's going to be, or they might figure it, because it all can work out, because our mind can actually run away with us. But a lot of people is panicking now, and you can't panic. Let me put it to you this way. If someone comes to your house knocking on your door, or they break in and wanting the food, and you're seeing them stealing your food, and that's all they're doing, and you're going to try to shoot and kill them for that reason, then you can't be a child of God. Maybe you need to say, hey, you can defend yourself. You can defend yourself. Don't get me wrong there. But if you see the situation, the person's not going to harm you and attack you, they're just hungry, feed them. Prove yourself to God. Okay? That's one warning I can give you. But if you just like, no, that's my food, we're suffering, our family's suffering, no, it may cost you a lot in the long run. Just not in the physical, but the spiritual. Remember the rich days of the rich man and Lazarus. What I'm saying. Remember the rich man and Lazarus. Starting to try to tell you one of my podcast episodes. I named it Living in the Days of the Rich Man and Lazarus. But our government is even going to be changed. There's going to be people. There are people who should be in a position on their job, like a supervisor, district manager, high up, almost a CEO, president type jobs, that God has already ordained that's came off the street. But they cannot have it. The company will not either hire them, or they got them working in such a low, hardly making a living, money, just barely getting by and struggling because they don't have all this education. Now, God is going to turn this stuff around for His people. A lot of these people that's in corporate businesses have stolen away from God's children and what God has really wanted for His children. And He's going to turn this around. The rich will become poor. I believe this. I really do believe the rich will become poor. Now, I'm not saying this is what's going to happen during this change. Here in the next, let's say, for an example, the next month and 6 months, the whole year on out. This could happen 5 or 10, 20 years, even after we're gone. You know what I'm saying? But just know, this change is coming. Nothing's ever going to be the same again. We're in sorrow times. Things will start looking up eventually, but we got to go through some heartaches. It's going to be like in Noah's days or Sodom and Gomorrah's days when everything was destroyed in Sodom and Gomorrah. Or in the days of Noah during the flood when nobody would get into the ark. I believe during this time we're going to see the true colors of God's children. We will see who is and who isn't real this time. There's going to be a cleanup in God's churches. These big mega churches that's going on with these TV ministers that have millions of dollars and well-known wealth, driving fancy cars that you love watching on TV, and some of you's got your favorite TV ministers you love so much and you send money to them. But at the same time, they're not going to come to your bedside and say a prayer on your deathbed for you without wanting money, or come and preach your funeral unless they get paid tens or twenties of thousands of dollars. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be stuck with a preacher that your family chooses from your local town or someone you've known for years. But you've sat around for God no telling how long, and you've paid this preacher $5 or $10 on TV, tithes and offerings, for many years, and they can't even do nothing for you. You wouldn't even be able to get through to them on a telephone to ask, hey, can you please pray for me? I fell ill. My doctor says I only have 6 months to live. I gotta go through this. Would you please pray? No, you know what's going to happen? You're going to get somebody in our receptions department, and they're going to talk to you a little bit and tell you how sorry they are to hear about your struggles, and they'll be praying and put you on a prayer list, but you won't be able to talk to the preacher, the one that you need to talk to that's supposed to help you, that's your guide to get to heaven as the shepherd, what I'm trying to say. He's the one supposed to be watching, make sure you're taken care of. That's not going to happen. You're never going to be able to speak to him, but he'll take that money though. Him or she is taking your money now. So you need to stop that. All that's got to stop. In this change, this is going to stop. Even in your small local towns, you're going to find out which preachers are true and which ones are not. And a lot of people are going to end up being hurt over this. A lot of people are going to end up being... It might even get to a point they're so hurt, they might try to attack one another or hurt themselves. It's probably going to be a lot of bloodshed, a lot of deaths that we're going to hear about. All I can say is hang in there one last time. I'm not trying to say I'm trying to prophesy these bad, horrible things. No, I'm not. I'm just saying what I've heard other people say from churches. Other prophets have said things that's been told in church throughout years to come, and going by some signs that's here, listening to these ministers on YouTube that I like watching, that I know is real and that I know is true. For we are living in the end, but I don't think, like I said, rapture time. This is a cleanup for God's house. There are leaders and preachers that are preaching the gospel that should not be preaching. You've got to be called of God to preach the gospel. Then you got those who are called of God that has let greed set in and lust of the money, or they just don't care anymore and just let everything go, and God's fixing to remove all these people out And he's going to put those that really, truly do have a desire into his house. He's also going to clean up witchcraft that's been going on in the house of God. Yes, I said witchcraft. There are churches out here you go to, you think that it's all of God, you say it's of the Lord, you felt stuff in the church, you felt, oh, it's of God, but it's really witchcraft. Yes, they're calling up on the name of the Lord, and they're praying to God, but God knows the hearts and He knows the thoughts. And I will explain later in other videos what I'm talking about through witchcraft. That's to come later on. So know, when you go to these churches, learn to get the spirit of discernment. Get that gift, because you really need to know, okay? Because just because someone says they love God and they're prophesying to you and it comes in the name of the Lord, it isn't. Remember, it says in the Bible, and Jesus spoke, many will cast out demons in my name, and many shall prophesy in my name, and I shall tell them, depart from me, you worker of iniquity. I never knew you. Remember that, okay? I don't know when I get to the video about witchcraft. I have some stuff I'm going to start talking about either once or twice a week. But we'll get to it. Just need to know God's going to clean up the churches too. So those of you who have the true desires to worship God, the prophets who have been pushed back because of people's hypocritical ways in the house, you're coming back. And you're going to serve the Lord, and you're going to be strong. And you're going to be stronger, and these people are going to be moved out. And you're going to grow, and you're going to advance, and you're going to go places as long as you stay in the will of the Lord and stay there. Okay? Listen to this, and I hope you share this video. This is all I have to say. Remember, a change is coming for us all. We all need to lean in there and just stay together. Thank you so much.